How do you identify if you have good arm structure in the backswing? It's coming to you right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. This week we're going to talk about arm structure in the backswing. There's different variations we need to figure out which one might suit you the best. But before we get to that, we had a giveaway, right, that we need to talk about from the last video. So the winner is Mike, just Mike. I don't know anything else about you, but your job is to look at the contact information below. Get a hold of us pretty quick, okay? Because if we don't hear from you, we're going to just move along and pass it to somebody else. We'll give you 3 or 4 days if that helps. So you guys made some comments. It's amazing, and I don't know why you guys are just don't talk on this channel very much. So very much appreciated. I like to hear from you guys. 18 comments, not bad. So some of you may be disappointed you didn't win. I understand. We just can't give away 18, 19 different prizes and me not living underneath a bridge. So, do you need help with your swing? If you do, we have the swing analysis offer or service on the website, and what you can do is contact the same way Mike's going to do. Say, I'm interested in this swing analysis, and we'll give you $15 off. Okay, so I think that's pretty fair. Take a look at your swing. Talk about what things you might need to work on, and give you some good feedback that way. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about arm structure in the backswing. What should we be looking for? And the answer is, it depends. Depends on what kind of shot shape you have or want. Okay, so a term that comes to mind is connected. I think sometimes even that term can be a little confusing, but in my mind, connected would mean that the arms don't really lift off the torso. Okay, what would be the benefit of that? More of a draw based pattern. Okay, so if you've been hitting pulls and slices for as long as you can remember, you may want to not be called Mr. Lifty anymore, okay, because that's a fade based pattern. Okay, nothing wrong with it, okay, but if you want to hit a draw, it's much more difficult to start taking the hand path out, the arms off the chest, hands above or to this side of the shoulder, back shoulder, and have very little depth between the sweet spot and the target line at the top of the swing, and then be able to expect to do this all, I call it the California roll, where you have to lay the shaft down, and then because the shaft's laying backwards, you have to bow your wrist enough to counteract the face or the sweet spot falling, etc., etc. Okay, all that stuff can work for somebody somewhere, but unless you're hitting balls 6 hours a day and you're already extremely athletic and really good looking and talented and wealthy and smart, just make golf more simple, okay? When we look at good players on TV, we tend to get attracted to either very symmetrical looking swings or the swings that are bizarre, different, but they work, so we go, wow, I should try that. If it were me and I'm hitting golf balls once or twice a week and playing once on the weekend, I'm going to find me a golf swing that works really well, that is extremely simple, so when something breaks down, I know exactly where to look for. Okay, so back to the story. Arm structure in the backswing. If you wanted more of a draw-based template, okay, I would say at the top of the swing, the hands need to be behind the back shoulder, and unless you are flexible enough to get the shaft parallel to the ground, which is going to be the next part of this, lead arm no higher than the back shoulder. Okay, it's going to be termed flat by some people, and you just have to go, thanks for your comment, and just keep going. Vice versa, if you want to fade the ball the most or begin to fade it more, Hands would work out more away from the body. Hands would be behind the neck. Hands would be in front of the right shoulder, etc., so that you can keep the sweet spot closer to the target line, which makes a more Ferris wheel downswing. Only problem with that is if you do it, you have to know how to manage it, okay? So the good players throughout history have had more vertical arm lift, have known how to drop the arms back down fast enough before they really begin rotating, or they create a whole lot of side bend really early to make the club shallow. But then we just have to appreciate those guys are on TV for a reason, because they're really good at doing things that are difficult. Okay, so that's all I'll say about that. So I said I'd mention something about arm structure at the top, right? So no matter how you do this, okay, if you have Mr. Lifty or people call you Flatty, doesn't matter, okay? You have to pick what best matches the shot shape you want. But anything you do, okay, and so you can use me as a good example. I'm Mr. Inflexible, whatever the proper word is. Can't get the shaft to parallel to the ground unless I can make about, is that close? Yeah, that's probably, I don't know, 120 degree shoulder turn. I should probably practice that, but it hurts a little bit. But when you look at the arm structure at the top and you want to be more consistent and you're not, you need to think about, is it worth it trying to match Freddie Couples and Davis Love and the players that I remember when I was growing up who did get the shaft parallel to the ground and could keep their left arm straight and didn't separate their elbows apart and didn't overflex their wrists and go into some sort of hyper cup here where the fingers actually came off the grip, etc. Well, they could get that club there and not make any of those mistakes. And so I would tell you, please be careful, okay? You don't need to get the shaft parallel to the ground if you can't, if it costs you your arm structure, okay? So here's the way you need to think about this. Triangle at address. One side of the triangle's folded at the top, okay? Generally, to think about this, best you can, if you could fit a football in between my elbows here, we'd like it to be pretty close to a football. If you go to the top and you can see a watermelon, okay, you've just hijacked your backswing. Your arm structure is bad, and you're not going to be consistent. Then you're going to go for a golf lesson and go, well, you know what, I really want to be more consistent. Well, gee, so does everybody. But you have to think about things that create consistency. Well, I've already set up this beautiful arm structure at address, and if I go and try to make this swing longer, splay my elbows, all this stuff that people do to try to copy somebody who gets the shaft parallel, then your arm structure is really poor and you're not going to hit the ball well. Unless you just hit one really good, and then you won't know how you did it. So I'm not making fun of you, but you understand what I'm saying. You won't know what you did differently. So we have to define some arm structure and then realize that if we're not getting the club back far enough, then we're going to have to turn more, or we're going to have to go to yoga, but we're not going to sacrifice splaying the arms apart, making the wrists come off the golf club, etc., or just trying to overswing and bend the arms and elbows too much, because again, all those things, if you can imagine, okay, wow, look how far I can swing it back, and then put that back in front of you, go, how are you going to hit the ball from there? Well, no, you'd have to undo at least some of this, right? And then the problem is you've got 0.2 of a second to fix all that. So just a couple clues, okay? We could get into, obviously, a lot of things, but I just want to give you some guidelines for this week and let you think about those things, okay? So thanks for watching. Comments below. Keep it going. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. We'll see you soon.